Hello, Maverick currency traders. This is Rob Reinhold. It is the end of November. We've got a couple days left, and then the 11th month is in the books, and then we got 1 month left for the end of the year. Let's talk about what's happened today. In this session, we're going to be going over the trading day. We're going to take a look at what happened, what were the movements. This was a pretty boring day. And look, we are in holiday trading. We tend to get a lot of these kind of days. Did anything change? And that's a big question. Did anything change in our analysis? We'll break all that down. We'll look at every single currency. And then you know what? We're going to pair up the strongest and weakest and look for setups.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the Apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
We just got out of a holiday shortened week, and this is where Corey broke down the markets last night. He said, look, we like the way that Aussie, the pound, the euro, and the Kiwi looked. But look, it was a +1. This isn't saying it's so great right now. It's basically saying, yes, they're showing outperformance, but it really, until it gets to +2 or +3, we're just not excited about it. On the downside, you can see Bitcoin Cash at a -2, and Corey talked about how the dollar and the CAD were the ones to be short. But here's the problem. We don't like to trade when it's +1, -1. It just isn't enough velocity. There's just not enough movement here. Let's see what the actual change was today. And did anything actually change, or are we still in this period of where nothing's really moving? We did get Australia retail sales last night. They were weaker than expected. The Aussie went down a little bit, a tiny bit, and then recovered. So we always say at Maverick, we use a word called sentiment. I don't think that's the right word, but basically the sentiment of the market overrode the bad news that came out. So the sentiment was, hey, we're in a good mood. We want to buy things that are risk on. The Aussie's risk on. The Aussie comes out with a bad report, and the sentiment was bigger than the report. This shows you that when bad news doesn't make something go down, it actually is a sign that it wants to go up. The Aussie dollar actually went up a little bit, even though it had bad news. We got consumer confidence in the US better than expected. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. And we had a really flat day in equities. If we take a look at the actual performances for today, remember, we like to see a 1% move. There was only one currency cross that had close to that, and that was dollar yen. You can see dollar was down 0.5%, and then we saw the yen was up 0.41. So that currency cross moved 0.91. That is a decent trade. You can actually make some pips off that, and that's worth going after. But here's the problem. You can see nothing else moved. I mean, Aussie and Kiwi were the two strongest ones outside the yen. That's 0.2. And then you take a look at euro, -0.14. As you can see, these are really small moves. I personally, whenever I see these, I am just so turned off from trading at the moment, saying, hey, you know what? Until I start to see some bigger moves, I'm just not interested. And if you are going to trade, you have to be so focused on getting the right currency cross. Because like I said, today, the only currency cross that was worth anything was dollar yen. If you weren't trading in dollar yen, you had a very, very frustrating day where really nothing happened. If we move into the markets and commodities, you can see the S&P was virtually flat. I mean, all that movement and the world index virtually flat. Crypto up 1.3%. Guess what? That's flat for crypto. That's a very small move in crypto. We did see some decent movement in oil and gold, but that was it. That was absolutely it. Did we see any movement at all in cryptos? Okay, Bitcoin was up to 2.5%, 2.2%. Everything else, again, a 1% move in Ethereum is just, it's a small move. It's just not a big move whatsoever. And if we come over here and we take a look at the equity market, take a look at this chart. I mean, take a look at these candles. These candles are so tiny. So what we've done is we've had a run and a base, run and base, run and base. As you can see here, that's all we're doing is running and basing. What we will expect going forward in these equity markets is that we will go flat most days and then we'll have one good day a week. That's what we got last week. That's what we got the week before. And that's what we got the week before that. This is where we are. This is the market we're in. So we need to really be conscious of these days. These are the good trading days. These are the you-know-what trading days. We're looking, okay, is this one of these big candles? Are we going to get one of those big explosive candles tomorrow in equities? Well, we don't know. But what we can do is we can check and see, is there anything like on the news front? Anything on the news front that's really going to get these markets going? Like, do we have a major news report where people are going to see that news report and make some trades? We do have the RBNZ tonight, and we also have the Australia CPI. So if you are trading Aussie and CPI, you might be able to make a case for there being a big move tonight. But again, this is going to be very specific to Aussie and Kiwi. This is not going to bleed over to making the US equity markets run up 1% tomorrow. That just isn't going to happen based on these. And then you can see overnight, we have some CPI reports out of Europe. Okay, again, that might help a little bit, but is there anything that's going to get these equity markets up 1% tomorrow that I can see on the calendar? No. No, it isn't. So I'm going into the next 24 hours with an attitude of, I don't really want to trade. I will trade if there is, energy that comes into the market. If I'm overnight or tomorrow morning and I see, oh, it looks like we're getting a nice surge in energy here, I'll look to trade. But I am not looking to trade over the next 24 hours. And if I am looking to trade, I would be laser focused on Aussie and Kiwi. Those would be the only pairs I'm really looking to trade. So since that is the analysis, that is the breakdown, I'm going to focus on Aussie and Kiwi. And the big question is, what do we short it against? What's the weakest? Is it the dollar? Is it the CAD? Or is it something else? Let's take a look. Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader? Let's start off with the Aussie and the Kiwi. So if we're looking at the Aussie, we can see that it is creeping higher, but look, it's just creeping higher. And that's fine. Here's the nice thing about this trade. This trade is an easy trade to stay in because there's no significant pullbacks. But it's a whopping 20 pips. As you can see, it's just explosions and then sideways actions. Explosions, sideways action. We're creeping up. So look, you can be long Aussie. Let's take a look at the Kiwi. As you can see, the Kiwi is looking a little bit better. It's still looking a little bit steeper, and we actually are breaking out of this high base here. And remember, if we have two currencies and we say, which one is better? I mean, which one is stronger right now? Then what we do is we pair them up against each other. If we pair up Aussie against Kiwi, we can see for the most part, it hasn't really mattered. I mean, take a look. I mean, this is flat. The moving average is flat. Everything is flat. So there really hasn't been any advantage over Aussie versus Kiwi. Yes, during this 12-hour period, it was a little stronger. Yes, right here, right now, the Kiwi's a little stronger. So again, if I had to make a trade, it would be Kiwi over Aussie, but it really doesn't make all that much difference. The question is, what do we pair it up against? And we have things like the dollar, and we have things like the CAD. Those were our two weakest currencies, so why don't we pair these up? And we can see that the dollar is absolutely weaker than the CAD. So dollar short is definitely in the books. Let's see the European currencies. I just want to take a look at like the euro. You can see the euro is drifting lower. The Swiss franc actually has a little bit more momentum to the downside. So Swiss franc looks even weaker than the euro. And pound, I'm going to leave pound at a +1. It looks like it wants to go up, but it's not telling me it's going up anytime soon. So let's take a look at our currency board and how it changed. We did see some strengthening from the yen and Bitcoin. Bitcoin got a little bit better. What got worse? Dollar, Swiss franc, euro all got worse. So we are still here. The yen is showing the most velocity at the moment. However, I don't like to trade this because the yen is pretty highly correlated to equities. And right now it's not showing correlation, but typically when the equity markets go higher, the yen goes lower. I think the equity markets are going to make a move higher somewhere in the next day or two. So I'm avoiding the yen. So again, I'm really just focused on that Kiwi. That Kiwi to me, remember, their RBNZ is tonight. So I would not go long into that report. I would go long after that report. But to me, Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar is the only trade I'm remotely interested in. So let's take a look at it on a chart. Kiwi versus dollar. And you can see here, we've got just some really good price action. You know, running up, basing, drifting higher, breaking out. If this was a different night where we didn't have the RBNZ, I would enter this trade now. I would enter this trade now. I think this trade looks great. You take a look at the charts, it is off to the races. Looks great. Here's the problem. RBNZ is at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we have to either wait for that announcement, or you could do a half position or a quarter position before the announcement and then add into positions afterwards if you like the price action. But there's really no other trade other than Kiwi dollar and the fact that RBNZ is tonight. It's telling me to hold off on it. So I'm not going to give any entry points because I don't want anyone to be taking entry points, because you really should wait until the report comes out. As I said earlier, I am less interested in trading than interested in trading at this moment. I think there's going to be one big up day this week. It's Tuesday. We didn't get it yesterday. We didn't get it today. Is it tomorrow? I don't know. Probably not. Is it Thursday? Maybe. Is it Friday? Very possibly. I'm going to be patient and wait for that one day, and then it's really all about what is better, the Aussie or the Kiwi, and I'm looking at it against the dollar. That is definitely the trade for the week. Thanks for joining me. That is the market recap.